Oil didn't move first, power did. Before a single barrel changed hands, something far more consequential happened. Venezuela's sitting president was formally seized by the US military forces. Not sanctioned, not indicted in absentia, not rhetorically threatened, seized. And after that seizure, not before, 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil were placed under the US control, with Washington overseeing the sale and directing the money. No international arbitration, no neutral escrow, no multilateral vote. This wasn't bloodless, it was post-capture extraction. And when resources moved after a head of state is taken into custody, that isn't market behavior. That's a trophy system. When oil moves after the president is seized, the oil isn't trade, it's leverage. And remember, if you want more Africa First stories the Western media ignores, hit subscribe. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this moment isn't just about Venezuela and why African leaders are studying it with extreme care.
Center of this U.S. strategy in Venezuela is oil. The country holds the world's largest reserves, and President Trump just announced that the country will be turning over millions and millions of barrels to the United States at market price. That coming after NBC News learned that the U.S. Energy Secretary is in close contact with oil executives, including Chevron, about rebuilding Venezuela's infrastructure.
You cannot continue to have the largest oil reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the Western Hemisphere, while the people of Venezuela have no electricity, substandard quality of life, and its profits don't benefit the people of Venezuela. The profits are stolen by a handful of oligarchs around the world.
Now let's go now to NBC News Chief White House Correspondent Peter Alexander. Peter, the president just posted about oil in Venezuela. What are we learning here?
Well, emphasizing the president prioritizing Venezuelan oil. Late tonight, he posted that the interim government there, the government of Delcy Rodriguez, will be turning over, as he says, 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the U.S., which the president says will be sold here at its market price. He said it'll be taken by storage ships and brought directly to docks in the U.S. He adds that the money will be controlled by, in his words, me, to ensure that it's used to benefit the people of both Venezuela and the U.S. To give you a broad sense here, the U.S. produces roughly 13 million barrels a day. So the number he's talking about is roughly 3 or 4 days worth of oil. Clearly, this is going to raise questions about the future of the relationship between the U.S. and Venezuela. The president has said getting access to Venezuela's oil supply and rebuilding its infrastructure there, Gotti, is a priority even before holding elections. In his interview with NBC News this week, he suggested American oil companies would be reimbursed for the money that they spend there. We should note that we have now learned that the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, is scheduled to meet with oil executives in Miami. That's supposed to happen tomorrow. Gotti.
So let's walk through this sequence, right? Because the sequence is a story. So first, the U.S. carried out the formal military seizure of Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. So that alone shattered a long-standing global norm that sitting heads of state, however contested, are dealt with through court, sanctions, or negotiated exile. Then came the second act. The U.S. president announced that Venezuela would transfer between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. Oil already stranded by sanctions, with Washington controlling the sale and deciding how the proceeds are used. So that order matters. This was not a voluntary export deal, a negotiated debt settlement, or a multilateral recovery process. It was resource control exercised after executive capture. And Venezuela issued no meaningful rebuttal because once power crosses that line, conversation becomes symbolic. So apparently the rest came with the shipping schedule as well, right? So many audiences are told this is about accountability, sanctions enforcement, recovering frozen value, very procedural language, very calm headlines, right? So what the system is actually demonstrating is that this was a post-seizure resource transfer under total power imbalance. So no global court ruling, no neutral financial authority or regional mediation, just a message every resource holding country understands instinctively. If your leader can be taken, your resources can be reassigned. So why is Africa watching closely, right? As many of you know, Africa holds oil, gas, cobalt, lithium, uranium, gold, rare earths. But most African resources still move through external clearinghouses, foreign currency settlement, permission-based trade rails. So sovereignty works until your resources become strategic. And African leaders don't study rhetoric, they study precedent. So here's proof of some of the consequences, right? So again, let's talk about Africa concretely. Nigeria produces oil, but clears revenue through systems it doesn't control. Angola exports energy, but prices it in currencies backed by other states' enforcement power. And Ghana just restructured debt, learning in real time how leverage moves faster than sympathy. So what the Venezuela seizure confirms is that control is not about production. It's about routing, settlement, enforcement, and escalation thresholds. So there's a major implication for youth here. Africa's next generation isn't asking, how much do we have? They're asking what happens when pressure arrives. And the major diaspora implication here is that this conversation, this is why the conversation about capital flight is now paired with sovereign payment rails, right? Because regional clearing systems and asset repatriation strategies are important. It turns out some of the most valuable refineries is the ones that controls the rules, right? So in the previous Africa Power Report, we explained why currency control matters more than exports. And this is the same lesson, just wearing military boots, right? So what's happening next? Well, first this becomes precedent, right? And quiet precedents travel fastest. So secondly, countries with strategic resources but weak enforcement frameworks will think where its assets sit, who clears payments, how seizure risk is priced. And then thirdly, Africa's long-term winners won't be the biggest producers. They'll be the ones who control transaction pathways, settlement mechanisms, and escalation insulation. So we'll be seeing many future headlines in the near future. I'm unsure what they'll be of now, but some potential examples could be Pan-African Resource Exchange bypasses external clearing, or Africa redefines strategic commodities governance, right? So this leads directly into why Africa is accelerating talks around payment rails and not just pipelines. So the truth is simple and uncomfortable here. Resources don't protect you. Systems do. So, mashallah, that's your Africa Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm Mr. Empower TV. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. This is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.